Hey there, soil warriors! Welcome back to another deep dive into the fascinating world beneath our feet. I'm absolutely thrilled to share with you today what I consider one of the most game-changing discoveries in my gardening journey. And trust me, I've been around the block a few times with everything from compost teas to mycorrhizal inoculants. Today we're exploring biochar, and I can already hear some of you saying, "Bio, what now?" Don't worry, I had the same reaction when I first heard about it. But stick with me because this ancient soil amendment is about to revolutionize how you think about soil health. Think of biochar as your soil's personal trainer, nutritionist, and security system, all rolled into one incredible package. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine taking organic materials like wood chips, agricultural waste, or even coconut shells and heating them up to extremely high temperatures. We're talking 400 to 1000 degrees Celsius, in an environment with very little oxygen. What you get is this incredible charcoal-like substance that's been supercharged with soil-boosting superpowers. The process is called pyrolysis, and it's essentially controlled burning that creates something extraordinary. Unlike regular charcoal that you'd use for grilling, biochar is specifically designed for soil application. It's like the difference between a regular car and a Formula One race car. They might look similar, but one is engineered for peak performance. What makes biochar so special is its structure. Under a microscope, it looks like a honeycomb or a sponge, riddled with tiny pores and chambers. This isn't just pretty to look at, it's functional architecture that transforms your soil from the ground up. Here's where things get really exciting, and honestly, this is what first sold me on biochar. You know that frustrating cycle where you water your garden and it seems like the water just disappears into thin air? Or maybe you're dealing with clay soil that either repels water or becomes waterlogged? Biochar acts like a microscopic reservoir system in your soil. Those countless tiny pores I mentioned, they're like little water storage tanks, capturing moisture when it's abundant and slowly releasing it when your plants need it most. I've seen sandy soils that used to dry out in hours now maintain moisture for days after incorporating biochar. But here's the really clever part. Biochar doesn't just hold water randomly. It creates what soil scientists call plant-available water. This means your plants can actually access the stored moisture easily, unlike clay soils where water might be present but locked away from plant roots. In my own garden, I've noticed that beds treated with biochar need watering about 30% less frequently than untreated areas. During last summer's drought, while my neighbor's tomatoes were wilting, mine were thriving in biochar-amended soil. It's kind of like giving your soil a built-in irrigation system. Water retention is just the beginning. Biochar's porous structure also creates countless parking spaces for nutrients. Think of conventional soil as a busy street where nutrients are constantly flowing past your plant's roots. Biochar turns that street into a well-organized parking garage where nutrients can hang out until your plants are ready to use them. This is what we call cation exchange capacity, and it's absolutely crucial for soil fertility. Nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium don't just wash away with the first heavy rain. They stick around, available for plant uptake when needed. It's like having a slow-release fertilizer that lasts for years instead of weeks. I have experimented with side-by-side comparisons in my raised beds, and the difference is remarkable. Plants in biochar-amended soil show consistently deeper green foliage and more robust growth throughout the growing season. The nutrient availability is so improved that I've actually reduced my fertilizer applications by about 40% while seeing better results. One of the most dramatic changes you'll notice with biochar is how it transforms your soil's physical structure. Heavy clay soil becomes more workable and drains better, while sandy soil holds together and retains moisture. It's like biochar acts as a universal soil conditioner, bringing different soil types toward that perfect, loamy middle ground we all dream about. The secret lies in how biochar particles interact with soil aggregates. These tiny pieces of charcoal act like scaffolding, creating spaces for air and water movement while providing anchor points for soil particles to cluster around. Over time, this creates a more stable soil structure that resists compaction and erosion. I remember working with a particularly challenging section of my garden that had been compacted by foot traffic. After incorporating biochar and giving it a full growing season, that same area became some of the most friable, easy-to-work soil in my entire garden. It's like the biochar taught the soil how to hold itself together properly. Here's where biochar really starts to shine: its impact on soil biology. Those microscopic pores aren't just storing water and nutrients, they're creating luxury condominiums for beneficial microorganisms. Bacteria, fungi, and other soil microbes love these protected spaces where they can thrive away from environmental stresses. So, think of biochar as creating a three-dimensional habitat in your soil. While conventional soil might have most of its biological activity concentrated in just the top few inches, biochar amended soil, well, it really buzzes with microbial life throughout the entire root zone. This kind of enhanced biological activity means better nutrient cycling, improved disease resistance, and, stronger plant-soil relationships overall. I've noticed that my biochar-treated beds seem to bounce back faster from stresses like heat waves or even a temporary drought. The enhanced microbial community creates a more resilient soil ecosystem that can buffer against environmental challenges. It's honestly like having a soil immune system that's been working out at the gym. Here's something that really gets me excited about biochar. It's not just improving your soil today, it's actually helping combat climate change. When organic matter decomposes normally, it releases carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. But biochar is incredibly stable, locking carbon away in your soil for potentially hundreds of years. This process, called carbon sequestration, means that every time you add biochar to your soil, you're essentially taking carbon out of the atmosphere and storing it underground. It's like turning your garden into a carbon bank account, except instead of earning interest, you're earning better soil health and environmental benefits. The stability of biochar also means you're not constantly having to replenish it like you would with compost or other organic amendments. While I still add compost regularly for nutrients and additional organic matter, the biochar I incorporated 3 years ago is still there, still working, still improving my soil structure and water retention. Now I know what you're thinking, this all sounds great, but how do you actually use biochar in your garden? The good news is that it's surprisingly straightforward, though there are a few important considerations. First, you'll want to charge your biochar before application. Fresh biochar is like a super absorbent sponge. It can actually pull nutrients out of your soil initially as it fills up those empty pores. To prevent this, soak your biochar in compost tea, liquid fertilizer, or even just water for a few days before application. For new beds, I typically mix biochar into the top 6 to 8 inches of soil at about a 10% ratio. So if you're working with 10 cubic feet of soil, you'd add about 1 cubic foot of charged biochar. For established beds, you can work smaller amounts into the soil around plants or mix it into compost before applying. The key is to think of biochar as a long-term investment rather than a quick fix. Unlike fertilizers that provide immediate results, biochar's benefits build over time as it integrates with your soil ecosystem and plant roots grow into the amended areas. So, I've experimented with both making my own biochar and purchasing commercial products, and honestly, there are pros and cons to each approach. Making your own can definitely be cost-effective if you have access to the right materials and equipment, but it does require careful attention to temperature and oxygen control to create quality biochar. Commercial biochar products offer consistency, and quite often, they come pre-charged with nutrients, making them a lot easier to use right out of the bag. The investment is higher up front, sure, but when you think about the long-term benefits, and the fact that you won't need to reapply it regularly, it often pencils out quite well. After years of experimenting with biochar in my own garden, and seeing the dramatic improvements in soil health, plant performance, and water efficiency, I can honestly say it's one of the most valuable tools in my soil building arsenal. It's not magic, it's science. But wow, the results can certainly feel magical when you see the transformation in your garden. The combination of improved water retention, enhanced nutrient availability, better soil structure, and increased biological activity creates a synergistic effect that benefits every aspect of your gardening. Plus, the knowledge that you're actively sequestering carbon and contributing to environmental health makes every application feel like a small victory for the planet. Whether you're dealing with challenging soil conditions looking to reduce your watering and fertilizing needs, or simply want to create the healthiest possible growing environment for your plants, biochar deserves a place in your soil improvement strategy. Ready to give your soil the ultimate immunity boost? Start small with a test bed or a few containers, and prepare to be amazed by the transformation. Your plants and the planet will thank you for it. Don't forget to subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles for more soil building secrets, and share this article with fellow gardeners who are ready to revolutionize their soil health. Together, we're growing not just better gardens, but a better world, one shovelful of soil at a time.